All right, everyone. Hello and welcome in. Thank you for joining me on this Friday afternoon as we head into the weekend. Week 9 of NFL action is upon us. This Sunday, the Minnesota Vikings will be taking on the Baltimore Ravens on the road. And today I want to talk about the battle in the trenches that is going to be the key focus of this game going forward, in my opinion, for the Minnesota Vikings and what they're going to need to do to overcome the adversity and attrition that they're currently facing at both positions in order to win this game against the Ravens. So, spoilers in the title, you already know what we're going to talk about. First up is going to be Garrett Bradbury, who is going to miss this weekend's game due to a positive COVID-19 test. He has been placed on the COVID-19 reserve list along with Dakota Dozier. So Garrett Bradbury landed on it yesterday, and then we find out Dakota Dozier landed on it today. Dakota Dozier being a little less significant given the fact that he's on the practice squad still, but still that hurts your depth. And then on the other side of the football, we're going to be talking about today's final injury report that was released by the Minnesota Vikings today. It had some interesting names on it, including Michael Pierce, who will be a non-participant. He is listed as out for the Baltimore Ravens game this Sunday. And then also on that list is Anthony Barr and Cam Dantzler, two significant players who don't have a lot of depth behind them at their positions currently because we still don't have Patrick Peterson. So, lots to talk about. Let's begin on the offensive side of the football with Garrett Bradbury and where that offensive line stands going into this weekend. So far this season, the offensive line has had its up and downs, starting off with not having Christian Darrisaw for the first month of the season. So thankfully, at least the Rashad Hill show is over for now. Knock on wood. Hopefully Christian Darrisaw does not suffer any sort of re-aggravation or different injury for the rest of the year because I can't stomach any more Rashad Hill at left tackle. They've had, lots of penalties in games. They've had lots of boneheaded mistakes in games, and then other games they've played pretty well. So it's been this weird up and down for them this year. But one of the things that they've been lucky to have has been consistency with not very many games missed by the starters. Now we can argue about, Rashad Hill and Christian Darrisaw. I think, that's not kind of what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that there has been at least some continuity with this offensive line, despite the fact that the left tackle missed the first 4 games of the season. They were sort of prepared for that. They knew it was coming, so they had time to acclimate Rashad Hill into that starting role. So this is going to be the first time in the middle of the season where they don't have a starter on the offensive line that was, something that they didn't have time to plan for. So Mason Cole will be getting his first official start with the Minnesota Vikings at the center position. I know people were kind of rooting for Wyatt Davis to potentially be in this role, but I kind of understand why they're not doing that. You're going up against a very good, very competitive, very well coached Baltimore Ravens team that is definitely a contender this year. Maybe not throw him to the wolves just quite yet, because if he hasn't been able to break into his natural position, which is right guard, over a guy like Oli Udoh who came out of nowhere this year, maybe he's not quite ready for that. As far as Garrett Bradbury being out and Mason Cole being in, I don't think that this is an upgrade, despite Vikings fans maybe wanting to talk themselves into it, because let's face the music. We all kind of sort of agree without saying it that Garrett Bradbury is a bust. Former first round pick, selected 18th overall, hasn't lived up to that pedigree and is likely not getting picked up for his 5th-year option and probably isn't getting an extension with the Minnesota Vikings. I think probably next year the Minnesota Vikings will have a different center. Is this the beginning of the end for Garrett Bradbury? No, I don't think so. I think once he's healthy and off the COVID-19 list, he will be back because I don't think Mason Cole offers an upgrade, and I think we're going to find that out this week. But at least it will give us a chance to see something else other than Garrett Bradbury being lifted up and pushed right back into the pocket as soon as he snaps the ball. So that is basically what we're looking at on the offensive line. And I'm interested to see how Ezra Cleveland and Oli Udoh react to a new center being sandwiched between them, because the interior offensive line has always been sort of, the pain points of pass protection for the Minnesota Vikings, what seems like forever. So I don't know if this is going to make it worse or if it's just kind of one of those moves that isn't really an incline or a decline on the scale in terms of performance, but maybe it's just one of those transitions that's basically even. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't think Mason Cole is going to steal Garrett Bradbury's job, if I could put it into as few words as possible. On the other side of the ball, we have to talk about the defense. And the defense concerns me because not only is the defensive line crippling due to injuries lately, it could compound the entire unit as a whole. And that is not something you want to be talking about going into a weekend where you're going to be facing Lamar Jackson in this offense that is, once again, really well coached. So Michael Pierce is out once again for the Minnesota Vikings. He will miss what I think is his third or fourth straight game. You're kind of starting to wonder in hindsight if this is an injury that they didn't have a good grasp on originally, because Mike Zimmer in his press conference today did say that Michael Pierce did not suffer a setback. And so maybe if we go back in time, maybe it would have been a better decision to put Michael Pierce on 3-week IR. I don't know if that's just me thinking out loud. As far as Michael Pierce being out, it's devastating because, even though the Baltimore Ravens are throwing a stable of running backs at us this weekend that are a collection of bad ideas due to all of the unfortunate injuries that they suffered at the beginning of the season, losing J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. I feel like there was another one they lost to injury, whose name I'm forgetting, and now they're throwing out Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray, so questionable at best. But our run defense has been bad this year. We haven't had Michael Pierce for a long time. We also have now lost Danielle Hunter, which greatly affects the pass rush. So, is Everson Griffin going to be enough? Is Dalvin Tomlinson going to be enough? We haven't really seen much out of him this year as far as, high impact plays and really contributing to the success of the team and the defense. All question marks. Very worried about the defense this year. And then to compound that even further, Anthony Barr is on the injury report as questionable. Cam Dantzler is on there as questionable. Cam Dantzler concerns me more than Anthony Barr from the aspect of the pass defense standpoint, because while Anthony Barr does a lot for this defense, according to the coaches, that's not me saying that, Cam Dantzler is, kind of the last line of defense for the cornerback position, because Patrick Peterson is not available for this game, still on 3-week IR, and Bashaud Breeland is terrible. Let's just call it out. No more sugarcoating. Let's just call it out as it is. So after that, next man up would be Chris Boyd or Harrison Hand, which I got to think Chris Boyd probably gets the nod over Harrison Hand for outside corner duties. That's just my opinion. But I don't really want to get there. I don't really want to get there because as I've said before earlier this week, this feels like 2020 all over again, where we're just kind of putting in as many bodies as we can to fill up a defense. So and the other part that relates to the defensive line and the pass defense is that we're probably not going to be getting the same kind of pressure on the quarterback in passing situations that we have been this year, even though I believe we do lead or are tied for sacks on defense as a defensive unit this season so far. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I expect, pass coverage to suffer because we're not going to be generating the same type of pass rush that we had with Danielle Hunter. So I could be wrong, but given the fact that they were really talking up Patrick Jones earlier this week in practice and not DJ Wanham, I have cause for concern on what's going to happen on the other end of the defensive line opposite of Everson Griffin. Everson Griffin should still be able to get his, so I have no doubt about that. It feels like we have downgraded over this week as we head into this game with the Baltimore Ravens. So those are my thoughts and opinions about Garrett Bradbury, the offensive line, Michael Pierce, the defensive line, how we're doing on defense as a whole. Let me know what you think your thoughts and opinions are on the subject matter in the comments below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.